All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. Morning, morning, morning. Happy Friday to you all. This is it. All right, last day of the week. We need to know what we're looking for. This is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for a particular purpose. So read through this. That way you know I'm not a financial advisor. And this is all simply for education purposes only. Morning to you all. Robert, Doug, Jay, thank you all for tuning in. We're going to get started right now. All right, I wanted to start off today with talking about the opening range real quick and how it's relevant throughout the entire week and looking for templates. All right, we talked about the different kinds of templates last week in that video that I posted with that blue thumbnail, and there's going to be another one coming out tomorrow at 5 p.m. about daily templates. But the daily templates are the exact same as the weekly templates. You can just look on the day for the same exact templates using the opening range for the day and then finding these types of templates. But things that are important. The market only does three things. It's going to trend, reverse, or stay in a trading range. So throughout the entire week, if you're looking at the opening range for the week and you have this understanding, you already have a 50% understanding of what to look for. Because Monday, that range creates a consolidation, and then throughout the week, we're either going to break out of that consolidation and start a range expansion for a trending style of week, or it could break out and then maybe somewhere within the week, it reverses and comes back down to retest the top of the opening range or the bottom of the opening range, where it's a breakout pullback template, but on a Friday, you're now catching that pullback. Or you could be looking at a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where Wednesday goes up and we put in a peak formation high or low, and then you get sort of a failed breakout of the opening range, and that turns into a failed breakout sort of template where they go up, they put in a roof, and then they come back down, or they go down, they put in the floor, and then they come back up. That kind of failed breakout style of template. On Friday specifically, we are looking for things where they have gone three pushes, 3 days outside of the opening range. We could be looking for a Thursday to have a first red or a first green day, a Thursday that has an inside day. We could look for 3 days of breakouts leading us into Friday. And then we're going to look at the peak formations. What does the weekly template look like? Where was the peak formation put? At the low of the week or the high of the week, do we have a new peak formation that we are trading into at either the high of the week or down low at the low of the week, looking for those three levels and trying to identify the weekly template? All right, so that gives us some insight on what we're going to be looking for throughout this sort of analysis here. And we're going to start out on the NASDAQ. All right, oh, I started doing that over here too. Shaky, good morning to you. Now, looking at this template, I've got my opening range high and low up here, and also, of course, the previous day's high and low designated by these solid black lines. And then the closes are designated by these blue lines. And this week, you can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pretty much traded on the inside of this consolidation, and then broke out on Wednesday, and we've gone higher. So if I'm trying to identify peak formations, you can see the W down here at the low of the current week that is now reversed and gone up. So looking at the next consolidation, they broke out of a W, kind of like an anchor point, and went back into consolidation here and then blew off in that direction. So this could be like 1 and then 2. And then maybe we're going to get a 3. I don't know. However, what I can tell you is that coming into Thursday, we have this peak formation at the high of the current week. Another M that is broke down and went into consolidation. So my question would be, are we going to get that third push? Sometimes you won't always get it. Or maybe I'm miscounting. That could happen as well. This could have been the first push, and maybe this is the second, and then maybe this is the third. It's just a reference. I'm looking for the three levels, peak formation to peak formation. But what I can identify is that this is a peak formation high at the high of the current week. And looking at the breakouts, we have 1 day of breakouts, 2 days of breakouts, and now we do have the third day of breakouts. Only 1 and 2 pushes outside of the opening range. However, this is a breakout template as of right now. There is breakout trader stops down here at the breakout level. Why do I say that? Well, there is somebody who traded the breakout of this day. They traded the break of previous day's high from Monday. They traded the break of previous day's high from Tuesday. And they're still running in profit right now. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to come back down and test those people. I genuinely have no idea. But what I will say is that those stops are there. So that gives me information about where they could go maybe later on. It doesn't even have to be this week. It could be next week. So after peak formation high, they have came back down 1 and 2, and then maybe we'll get a third. All right, so thinking about probabilities or possibilities for what type of setup I could be looking for based off peak formations and things like that. We have those 3 days of breakouts. Get that up there. But thinking about this logically, what could happen? Peak formation high, 1, 2, and maybe 3. And then this goes vertical back up through the high in a breakout pullback template. All right, that could be one probability or one possibility. The next possibility is that although we do not have a first red day, we do have a lower low back down on the inside. So high, low, higher high, break down, break in structure to the downside, lower low on the inside. All right, so again, I'm not somebody who's going to sit here and tell you this is my 100% estimation for today. This is what I'm guessing. That's not what I do. I look at the different scenarios. What would be the scenario if it were to go up? What would be the scenario if it would go down? What level am I in? Those types of things. Now, if I do have a very clear signal to do something like first red, first green, then obviously I'm going to look for those opportunities with 3 days of breakouts and a lower low on the inside. Yes, generally I am going to look for a sell high opportunity, and I think that that will be the trend today as well. I'm going to look for a sell high opportunity on this day. All right. 3 days breakouts on the NASDAQ. I think we've also triggered previous week's high from 2 weeks ago. Yep, this is right here. All right, previous week's high from 2 weeks ago. Oh, I put that on the wrong side. There we go. All right. This looks good. Now, if this is a range expansion style of week, right, we've came back down, and then maybe now we're going back up, right? They're going to do a higher high and keep going. I don't want to just be married to the sell high idea on this kind of template because the peak formation in 1 and 2, and you can imagine if we get that 3 at 9:30, stop hunt low, and then it goes vertical, we might have people compressed in down here. That might be okay. All right, so I've given you all both sides of the trade, both sides of the scenarios of what could happen. Hopefully that's been helpful. I'm going to move on to US 30 now. All right, slightly different story here on US 30. If I could get my indicator to load, that would be good. And there it is, opening range. So down here on the US 30, we've got the peak formation at the low of the week. Very obvious W. All right, down, up, down, they engulf it. Awesome stuff. Then it pulls back, stop hunt low, and then explodes. So this could have been first level of rise, but let's just take a look at the breakouts. We got breakouts day 1, breakouts 2, breakouts 3. All right, so that's number 1. I've identified at least one signal, 3 days of rise. Now, with 3 days of breakouts, it could just keep going. We've seen that plenty of times. 7 days of breakouts, 8 days of breakouts, it just keeps going. That's probably because it's doing a range expansion. There's a higher time frame driving that market. And it could be doing like an ADR times 3 or like a weekly range expansion of times 3, right? It's just going to keep going until we get a lower low on the inside, first red day or something like that, which could be happening on this pair as well. So you have to be very careful. Now, with this larger peak formation, a bit of a larger W here, this could have been level 1, and we can mark that off. This is the first time they've came up and went back into consolidation, and then come up, very obvious stair step level 2, and maybe even up into level 3. All right, so we've got 3 days of breakouts. Do we have a lower low back down on the inside on this pair? No, we do not. All right, we're just trending higher, making higher highs and higher lows. But being in what I believe to be level 3, do I necessarily want to look for a buy? No. I want to look for a sell high opportunity from previous day's high, above closing price, things like that, if it were to present in this session. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's the idea. All right, I don't want to be buying up high in what could be, or what I believe to be, level 3. From peak formation to the day where I believe that they're going to make or build a peak formation, I'm going to look down on my lower time frames for them to trigger my levels, and then look for them to put in a peak formation high on the 15-minute or the 1-hour chart, maybe even that 5-minute chart, depending on, the time of day and things like that. But once I start to see the development of a M at the high of the week, that is going to be my signal to be watching this pair, because we are in level 3. That is the purpose. That is the reasoning. Also, remember that other part that I was looking for. 3 pushes outside of the opening range. Now, this 3 pushes out of the opening range, like I explained before, this will not always result in a reversal. Sometimes it is doing a range expansion and going further and further and just dragging people farther and farther away. Maybe the trade will be on Monday or maybe Tuesday of next week that we get that reversal. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that exactly what I just said. I'm looking for a M to start to form at my levels at the high of the day, at the high of the previous day, so that I can find a peak formation high in level 3, which is exactly what should happen. Here we go. All right, NASDAQ, I need to put this into a place. I'm going to put this into 3 days breakouts. US 30, I also need to put this in place. I'm going to put this in 3 days breakouts. This does not have a first red, does not have a first green, does not have an inside day, but it does have 3 pushes out of the opening range and 3 days of breakouts and 3 obvious stair steps up into the high. Good stuff. And obviously this pair has also triggered previous week's high. That's right there, which is always good to have labeled out. Let's see. Are we at all-time highs as well? Let's see. Anybody know all-time highs? Certainly looks like it. Yeah, we have broke and we have gone into. We've been at all-time highs now for a while, but we're continuing to go higher. Cool. Again, coming back to that, maybe the higher time frames are driving this, which obviously they are. Let's go to gold. Jay, I really appreciate that, and I also agree. Nice analysis. I appreciate that, and I also agree with everybody should hit that like button. If you all could do that, I greatly appreciate it. It helps the stream quite a bit. All right, gold. Now, gold could be a bit finicky, and remember those talking points at the beginning of the stream that I put out there. Monday is a consolidation. Market only does 3 things: breakout, trend, breakout, reverse, or stay in a trading range. It's broke out. We're pulling back. We're on top of the opening range. We've came back off of a peak formation at the high of the current week in level 1. Drive down. We could probably mark this either from here or here. So maybe 1 down, 2 down. Maybe we're going to get 3 down. I don't know. But what I'm talking about is the fact that we're resting or layering on top of the opening range high. So what could I look for based off of the only 3 things that markets do? Peak formation high. We have a peak formation low down at the low of the current week. Maybe this is a breakout pullback template for a continuation on Friday. That could be the first scenario based off of peak high, 3 levels of drop coming into a Friday and resting on top of the opening range high. If we put in a W down here, that could become the new low of the week, breakout pullback, and then continuation back towards the high of the week. Number 1. Number 2, this could be and is a first red day. Why is this a first red day? We have a peak formation at the low of the week that came up to the high of the week in a large pumping fashion. attempted to go higher, put in a peak formation high at the high of the week, and then closed below the opening price or the closing price from that day, which they did. Now, some cause for concern. Did they hit or did they make a lower low on the inside on this pair? No, they did not. Maybe on the 15-minute chart, but not even here, because this big pin up right here is the high. All right. Using objective rules for structure. They have not made a lower low back down on the inside. Number one. Also looking at the opening range, like I said, this could be breakout pullback. Also, we've closed a bit. If this is where the pump began, that doesn't give us a lot of space to get back down there. Some things to kind of think about coming into the day. All right, let me take a look a little bit out further. Now, we have been going up for quite some time on this one, which you can see the larger peaks down here, and we got 1 week of breakouts and 2 weeks of breakouts, and maybe we're now into that third week of breakouts. Right here. All right, so both scenarios. What would I be looking for? I would be looking for them to stop hunt high for a sell high opportunity. If they start to put in an M at the high of the day or high of session or something like that, I could take that trade back down to the low of the day. That would be one opportunity based off this first red day. Number two, Wednesday, higher high. Thursday, pullback, 3 levels. Friday, trend trade back up through the high. Those are my only 2 ideas on this pair based off of what has happened. Based off the template, good stuff. Is that pretty clear for everyone? Or have I just completely kicked that off into the left field? Is that confusing at all for any of you, all 98 people that are in here? I want to make sure that I'm actually doing something here. I want to make sure I'm actually helping you all. So if this is helping, please put a Y up in the chat. If not, put an N. And I'll go back. I'll do some more. All right, we're going to go onto oil. If I don't see any response, that's no big deal. I'm just going to keep on moving. If I see any ends up there, though, I'll go back. Forgotten Trader, if you never seen anything from me before, these streams are probably very confusing. Definitely go watch the videos. But after you watch a few of the videos, these streams will make a lot more sense, and they'll actually be able to help you out a bit. All right, this is not helping at all for a couple of you, but most of you is yes. Majority says yes, so I'm gonna keep going, and hopefully some of you can kind of catch up a little bit. No big deal. All right, so Monday, opening range for the week, fairly wide range. And then Tuesday came up and breakout, and then that breakout has failed. All right, we got our first red day on Wednesday. And then on Thursday was the first red day trade on oil. That has came back down to the low of the week, and now, looking at today, has pulled back up on the inside. So we have a peak formation now at the high of the current week, based off of this M. Then we have a drive and a drive and a drive down into the low of the current week, in which we have now possibly put in or are putting in a peak formation low. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday was the dump. We've dumped down into the low of the week and maybe put in a new peak formation at the low of the week after 3 levels back down. 1 day of breakouts down, 2 days of breakouts down. We're missing the 3rd day, but that's okay. Let's take a look here. I'm going to zoom out a bit. So in the absence of signal days, because this was not a first red, this was not a first green, but we do have a nice compression down low, the only 3 things that markets are going to do. This could be a place or an area, this level here, where they are trapping volume. They could be trapping underneath of Wednesday's low for a peak formation low to go back up. That is a possibility or a probability. All right, so what would I be looking for? This could be a low of week trade, stop hunt low, and then rise after 3 levels of drop. And based off the peaks, right? The peak formations. In the absence of everything else, I'm only just going to look at the peak formations. I'm going to look at the day, frame the day, and see what could happen based off of today. So, what is the Asian range for today? We've got, this is Asia here. Then we go down to 3 o'clock. They broke out to the high of Asia. They put in a peak formation at the low of the day and traded, broke out of Asia, breaking out of other things, lower consolidations down low. This could be good. Zachary, let's see. I can identify high and low. It's just easier with the day separator for me. Is it an indicator? Yes. So this daily separator here, all you have to do is click session breaks. It'll do it for you. The weekly one, I could pull this up real quick. The weekly and daily separators, and I've got it set to just showing the weekly separator, and I've got to override. The reason I started using this weekly separator is because the other one that I was using did not work for indexes and oil and things like that. It only worked for currency pairs, so I really like this one. And then this is my previous day's high and low indicator right here. Previous open, high, low, close by Nephew Sam. All right, that's the one that allows me to put the close and the high and the low up there. Pretty useful. All right. Price is also above closing price for Friday. Yes. All right. So I've identified the W. I've identified the peak formation at the low of the day. We've got this big run up. On the flip side of this, if I'm completely wrong and it just goes up here and starts consolidating and working the high of the day, you know, this could be a higher high and they need to stop hunting back down, so don't get caught up. But me personally, would I look to take a short on this? No. Why would I not look to take a short on this? Well, we've been making higher highs and higher lows. This has broke down and started making lower lows and lower highs, absolutely. But from this breakout, if this breakout actually fails, and this is all trap volume down here, I don't want to be trading back down into a W. That's just my own personal opinion. All right, what is this, oil? Are we up high? How up high? All right. What do you mean by ORL? And that's the opening range for the week. It's the first trading period within any given period. So Monday's low and Monday's high is the opening range for the current week. That gives you a range to look for all week long. Helps you to identify the weekly templates. Let's see. Is the Dixie done? I actually don't usually do the Dixie, but I can do that for you if you'd like. I wouldn't mind. All right. This looks good. I really like oil. A lot of pairs this week are trading very clean. I'm going to put this up into... put this into here. What is this? Also Monday. If you look at Monday's open, lines up really well with the opening range low. You can see we've been tapping down into that. All right, I'm going to give one more look at it because I really like this pair right now. I think this could be good. Maybe a dump, consolidation for the pump. That's what I'm going with. That's what my idea is for this, and that's what I'm going to roll with. If I'm wrong, whatever. It'll go down, and then I'm wrong. Good stuff. Let's see here. All right, pound dollar. Now, this is one that I was absolutely wrong yesterday. Not necessarily wrong, but I said, hey, this is a first green day coming off the low of the current week. This is a very in-your-face, blatant W, right? They broke out. And then yesterday in the live stream on Discord, I was saying, hey, this could be level 3 back down in this area. But the thing is, it just kept going. It just kept dragging lower and lower and lower. There was never any sort of consolidation and a peak formation low that could make me believe that my trading setup was presenting. I had a signal to watch a pair, but then the actual setup never presented, so I just watched it keep going. And that one actually turned out to be a really good short trade that I did not participate in, and that's okay. That's going to happen. So let's go back to the 1 hour chart and take a look. Yeah, exactly. Behavior of price. It was not behaving the way that I was expecting based off of the pattern that had presented. So now we've came back down even further. We've got peaks at the high of a week. We had one push outside of the opening range on Tuesday. Second push outside of the opening range yesterday on Thursday. And then now on Friday, we've obviously had that third push outside of the opening range. They have blown off in a direction. So why is that important to me? Well, it's Friday. We've got 3 drives outside of the opening range. And I think that as of today, we might actually have 3 sessions outside of the opening range as well. Let me pull this up. Yeah, so right at the beginning of the day, we've got session 1 outside, session 2 outside, and session 3 outside. So what would I be looking for? I'm going to look for a short squeeze. I'm going to look for them to start... I'm going to look for the behavior that they start jamming people up down at the low of the current week, and I can get a parabolic trend back up to the breakout level at a minimum. Good stuff. All right, 3 sessions on Friday, 3 drives outside of the opening range. Think about all the people that are short off of this move. Could be good. And this could even be a higher high, and then this is the dump to stop out anybody who is long. I'm going to skip these ads for you all. So yeah, what would I be looking for? I'm going to look for the development of a W at the low of the day, 15-minute, 5-minute chart. Could be even the 1 hour, but we'll see. Have we hit previous week's low? How many of these have we hit? Previous week's low from two weeks ago. Nice. All right. For any of you who might be sitting in the live stream right now, if you're new here, raise your hand. It's okay. If you're watching this stream right now and you're completely confused and you're just like, what is this guy talking about? It's totally understandable. If you're new, these streams are not for people who are new. I'll be completely honest. Go watch my videos. It'll make a lot more sense for you. And then come back and start watching these streams, and they will help you significantly to identify setups coming into the day. But I definitely want to say that, right off the bat. If you're new to this stream, or if you're watching this post stream and you're like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Please go watch my videos. Go watch Stacey Burke's videos. Watch Steve Morrow's videos. This is all going to make a lot more sense. All right. Okay, so W, low of day. 3 pushes outside the opening range. I'm going to put this, it's not 3 days of breakouts necessarily, but it is 3 pushes out of the opening range. I'm going to put this into opening range and be looking for this. Now, this trade might not come today. It could come tomorrow, Monday. It could come on Monday. If they go into consolidation, no big deal. Let's see. Look at this. They went up. They built the wall. Look at that half Batman. Beautiful peak formation. That is one of the most beautiful half Batmans I've ever seen. We've dropped it down. We've dropped it down. We've dropped it down. That's on a 1 hour chart as well. So I'm wondering if this is how it's moving. Right, peak formation high. I'm not going to sit here and stare at it for too long, but I just want to see if I can better identify these levels and how the market is moving. So we got one down. And then they've came down a second time. Okay, and then maybe this is the third time. Unless this is a peak formation reset, this looks like it could be the third level of drop. And we're at previous week's low from, where the dump or where the pump began. So we kind of went up and built the wall, and now we're back down at the bottom. Could be good. All right, cool. Euro JPY. Ooh, all right. This is an interesting one. How many weeks of up do we have? Let's see. We actually had previous week's low was broken here. So that was our first week of drop, and then second week of drop. Then they put in a new peak formation and went back up. Okay, so this was the peak formation from 2 weeks ago or last week. This is a 1 hour chart. Broke up, started to ascend. Okay, good stuff. Beginning of this week, we got peaks down low, and I can throw my opening range back up there so we can actually see what I'm looking at. Peaks down low, and they've came up once within the week, twice, 3 times, and then in level 3, or what we believe to be level 3, put in, you guessed it, the new peak formation high at the high of the current week, right? That M up top, and what is believed to be level 3. So they broke down from that. So I can confirm this as a peak formation right now. And also, given that this is a peak formation at the high of the week, that is a first red day. Actually, is that a first red? No, yeah, it is. All right, this is where the day opened. This is where the day closed. Peak formation, high of week, first red day. And I'm going to put this, label that. So I'm looking for a sell high opportunity today. That's the only thing that I could possibly be looking for. Now, what would I look for as far as like the other side of the trade? What could happen based off of what if they just stop hunt back up? You know, they could come down, they could put in a W, and today could be a pullback day. That's something you need to look out for. But I don't care about that. I am only going to be looking for a sell high opportunity on this pair. That's it. All right. When I say sell high, I'm referencing above Asian range, above closing price from yesterday, previous day's high, or just the high of the session. This could actually turn into the new high, like previous day's high level. It's not previous day's high, I understand that, but it's a breakout level. They could retrace back up, stop hunt into those people, and then we could get that further drop. That could all be things or scenarios that could play out based off this pattern. Let's see. What else? 1 day of breakouts. Actually, this is the first day of breakouts from Friday. 1, 2, 3. So 3 days of breakouts, 3 levels of rise. Also, peak formation at high and first red. Okay, this is all really good. I like this. Also, I think this is a lower low down on the inside. This is the high right here. They didn't break the high, which means that this was still the low right here. Objectively, right? Oh, got to use my shift key. Help. There we go. High, low, higher, high. That confirms this as a low. So this is confirmed a lower low. That can give me information about my first red day and help me to decide whether or not I actually want to trade this. However, trading futures, I don't even know if I have the opportunity to trade this. So I'm going to see if I can. If it presents, I'll take a look. Peak formation happened on NASDAQ yesterday. The half Batman. Yep, Jay. Yes, absolutely. If you don't know how to identify a half Batman, it's just go print off a picture of Batman. All right. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's a side profile. There's his ear, there's his head, then they'll put in like a little nose, and then it'll drop. All right. Half Batman, side profile. And if you look at pound, that's why I was saying, I was sitting here obsessing over this pattern because of how pretty it is. There's his ear, there's his head, there's his nose, and there's the drop. All right. That's how you can identify that style of peak formation. All right, Euro JPY, first red day. Nice. Now, we are, of course, in a breakout mode style of template. This is the left wall. This is the head. But it could be breakout, pullback, continue. If that were to happen, I'm just going to ignore it. That's not what I'm looking for as far as setups. All right, Euro USD. This is another one. Look at this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Look how beautiful this W is. Oh, man, that is the most obvious, gorgeous W I've ever seen. They went back up. They broke out of the previous day's high from Monday. Also, that is the opening range high. And then they put in a peak formation high on the day itself. I'm looking for a buy low opportunity. Comes down. Asia, London. You can see the new peak formation high. Up, down, up. They've engulfed it. So effectively, this was one level of drop. Never got the opportunity to buy low. Came back down. Second level of drop. 1, 2. And then now maybe we're down into 3. First push outside the opening range on Tuesday. But we're back down at the low of the current week. All right. So do I have a signal day on this pair? No. All I have is an opening range breakout back down to the downside and also having triggered Tuesday's low. That could be an area for them to trap volume down low. That is really the only thing that I would look for. I want to see them come down and put in a W down here. We've got 3 sessions of breakouts on a Friday out to the downside of the week. That is a pattern that I'm going to look for. Now, if this breaks down, and this is like the biggest trap we've ever seen, they pull back down, breakout, opening range breakout, and this continues to make lower lows and lower highs. Maybe they're shooting for something down here. I'm not going to trade this. All right, I'm not going to trade that. That is not a setup that I'm looking for on the week itself. But I'm also not going to retail myself into trying to counter trend something that's doing expansions. So this is first level of drop here. I'm going to label this for myself so I can easily reference it in the session. This is what I believe to be the second level of drop within the week, and then maybe the third. All right. So maybe we're looking at 3 sessions of drop in level 3 for a small reversal back up or a reversal in general. But other than that, I'm not going to look at this pair. Now, Euro is one of the ones that I can trade in futures, so that would be good if we got that presenting today. Hey, Cam, question, Monday's break out and close outside of high of week or high of... let's see. Okay, his question is, Monday breaks out and closes outside of high of week or low of week of Friday. Okay, so this is... Yep. Okay, I see what you're asking. So, number one, for example, this Friday right here, they broke down at the low of the current week. That breakout failed. This was day 1, 3-day cycle. This was day 2. However, on day 2 of the 3-day cycle, do you see how they broke out of Friday's high and it failed and pulled back down on the inside? Because this is the high of the current week and my only reference point. This is a peak formation at the high of the current week and a failed breakout of the high of the current week. That resets the cycle. Pack. So this is day 1, 3-day cycle. This was day 2, 3-day cycle, trading away from the peak formation. This was day 3 of the 3-day cycle, getting a reversal off of the low of the week, back up through the high of the week. Pack, I hope that makes sense. Now, when this happens, they broke out of Monday's low, and this is day 3 of the 3-day cycle, and it runs back up. But once this breakout fails, the breakout of Monday's low, this is day 1 on the close of this day right here. That close confirms Tuesday is day 1, Wednesday is day 2, and then Thursday is day 3. And sure enough, we got a peak formation at the high of the week. So the 3-day cycle is being well respected this week. Day 3 of the cycle, peak formation at the high of the week. Day 1, today is day 2. And then tomorrow would be day 3. Hopefully that makes sense. Alrighty then. I like this. This isn't bad. I'm going to put this up into opening range. I don't have any other signal day other than that. So the only thing that I can look for is based off these 3 levels of drop. I'm going to look for them to put in a W. If I don't get that, so be it. I will look at something else. Give myself a little idea of what to look for. All right. U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, very tightly wound. Can you repeat the 1, 2, 3? Are you talking about on Euro, J? Peak formation at the high of the week. That results or should result in 3 levels of drop. Came down, went back into consolidation, peak formation high. Level 1 of drop. They broke and went lower. Went back into consolidation. Then they went lower. So this is 1. This is 2. And then now we might be down into the 3. 3 sessions of drop on the 3rd level or in the 3rd level on a Friday. That is why I'm looking for that W. Why is Tuesday day 1? Tuesday is the day that broke out of Monday. Wednesday is the day that the breakout failed. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Because it on the scenarios, Jay, where the breakout fails over the course of 2 days, the day that the breakout occurred becomes day 1. However, if the breakout occurs and fails in the same day, that day just becomes day 1. And I've got a lot of videos explaining day 1 of the 3-day cycle because that's the most confusing part to remember the rules and things like that. So I have a really detailed video and very nice slideshow, not only in my in my trading boot camp, as well as the videos here on my YouTube channel. I do have that, those explanations. All right. We do have some newbies in the chat today, and that's good. I'm more than happy to have them here. I'm more than happy to answer their questions the best that I possibly can. I'll reiterate, this stream is definitely not for the newer person to this strategy. Go watch my videos for that. But this stream can definitely give you a really good insight into what to look for in those videos and things like that. So, good stuff. Outside, breaks outside, doesn't fail to break out. Are we going to... Pack, hey, go watch the videos. Go watch the day 1, 2, and 3 cycle videos. It's going to explain it a lot better than I'm going to be able to explain it here within my time constraints of this stream. Not to try and divert you to somewhere else, but it's for you. It's going to benefit you to watch those more than it's going to, more than I can benefit you here on this stream. You called NASDAQ a sell. No, I did not call it a sell. I'm calling it as these are the two scenarios that I'm looking for. All right. We've got a peak formation at the high of the week and a lower low down on the inside. So I'm looking for a sell high opportunity if that were to actually present. If it breaks down and breaks out, pulls back, that's a sell high. If it goes back to the high of the day, that's a sell high. But if they sit here and they work the low of the day and 9:30 opens up and it explodes back to the high of the day, maybe I'm not wrong, but I'm timing it wrong. So maybe the trade transitions over to Monday or something like that. Or maybe this is a peak formation reset and they do 3 more levels. Those are all the different scenarios. It's just about what the session looks like once we get to 9:30. All right. And once that news happens. And there is news today. Mr. Powell is speaking, I think, at 9:45 or something like that. So you better believe I will be waiting until after that news event presents or occurs. Because a lot of times, whenever you try to take a trade before that news event occurs, they will make it look like the range is going to expand. And then Mr. Powell needs to speak. Just kidding. We'll pull back a little bit first. Then he starts to speak, and then the trade will take off or play out. And then you were over here. You had the direction right, but you've timed it wrong because that news event. So I will be waiting until after that man is done speaking. All right, U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. This is Monday's range. Boy, we've been on a run, haven't we? Multiple days breakouts, lots of days breakouts. They reset it over here, but this could have been a lower low down on the inside. That could have been a break in structure to the downside. I don't know. That is a high. That is a low. They went higher, and then it broke down. So this could be a break. Not a bust, but a break. Which effectively would make this my high. And now we've traded back up into that high. And what appears to be push and maybe a push. I don't know for sure. All I can do is try to best identify the information that is presented to me. That is a M at the high of the current week that they have made a lower low and traded back up into 3 times. And then broke down on the day itself and made a lower low. Okay, so if I was looking at this from a template perspective, spike the high, spike the low, and pull back on the inside, I'm looking for a pump and a dump if that presents. Again, I have no idea if that will present. Also, this is push 1 outside the opening range, 2, maybe 3. This could be like my little anchor point down here that we could trade back down to. This would be like the space to get back down to the low. 3 days of breakouts. They reset it over here, but that, like I said, could be the lower low. So I'm going to put this in 3 days of breakouts. On the flip side of this, they put in a peak formation reset and it explodes and it just keeps going. That means they're probably going to do 3 more days of rise, or they're just going to extend it 1 more level. No big deal. All right. Now, I do not have a first red day or a first green day or anything like that. All I have is these 3 days of breakouts. Good stuff. Is this the best template I've ever seen? No. Do I have a decent idea of what to look for? Sure. So I'm going to make sure I annotate this as well. Hopefully you all are following along. I'm not speaking another language. If I am, please let me know. Or if you have questions in general, like I said, I'm more than happy to answer. All right. Took the M above Asian high. Very nice. Keaton. pack. Good stuff. Appreciate it. All right. I'm going to go to US Swiss. Now, I've been watching the Swiss because this thing is, I thought it looked good over here. I thought this first red day would looked really nice. Why? Market only does 3 things: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Opening range for the week that's broke out Wednesday in a W, push 1, 2, and 3. Then you get a first red day. Looked really good. Yep, just kidding. Now we can expect 3 more levels of rise. So what has happened now? Well, they broke up. That's a pretty obvious stair step. That's a pretty obvious stair step. And now we might be up into the 3rd stair step. All right. Now, I don't have 3 days breakouts or anything like that. I've got 1 and 2. We're at the high of the week on a Friday, and we continue to break higher. I don't know. There's no lower low back down on the inside, nothing like that. This was a breakout pullback template coming off of what I think is the low of the month. So we might not expect a reversal today, but that is personally what I would be looking for if that were presenting somehow, some way. 2 and 3. So what would I want to see? I want to sell above closing price. I want to sell at the high of the day. I want to sell at the high of the previous day. We're already at the high of the previous day. This is day 1, 3-day cycle. No, it's not. We're on day 3 of the cycle. So this is day 1 right here on Wednesday. They broke out, breakout failed. Day 2 trap that's gone higher. Day 2, day 3 of the 3-day cycle at the high of the week on a Friday as well. Hey, D, I'm going to go back. I'll go back over it for you if you'd like. Day 1, day 2, day 3 of the 3-day cycle in push 3 or level 3. And I'm going to be looking for them to develop an M. Or in level 3. Level 3 is where you look for the M. I'm looking for an M at the high of the day. Either a 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart. And I'm looking for the daily template to align with that idea. If it doesn't, I look at a different pair. Good stuff. And I'm going to put this into up here. All right, US dollar CAD. Oh, boy. All right, cool. For any of you that were in that stream yesterday with me doing the daily templates, or if you've watched the weekly templates, here's one of them. They broke out to the high. That breakout failed. Everybody gets going short. Good stuff. Then on Thursday, it reverses back up on the inside, and now we're going higher. Peak formation high, peak formation low, pull back on the inside. Now we're getting a channel back towards the high. The only thing I'm going to look for is a parabolic trend trade back up through the high of the week. That is what the template is telling me. That is what I'm going to look for. Whether or not I can get that in my session because this is presenting very early and we're already up high, I don't know. All right. If this goes vertical and 9:30 opens up here and we've already got 3 levels up on the day, maybe not. Probably won't be looking for that. But this is solely and purely based off of this weekly template. Look at this massive dump down. Okay. Day that is dumped down, giving us a day 1 of the 3-day cycle and closed above its open. That is a textbook first green day. Okay. They've also made higher highs on the inside. Low, high, lower low. Obviously, these are a series of lower lows and lower highs. Break-in structure to the upside. All right, so that is a higher high on the inside. Not a bus, but a bis. There we go. Hey, good morning to you, and probably good evening wherever you're from. Nice. All right, actually, let's go back to the 1 hour and take a look. This pair is trading very clean as well. Look at that, nicely formed. It is just a beautiful little channel going up there. All right, cool beans. Let's go. Let's put this into first green day. And I saw some people, they wanted some repeats. I'm more than happy to do that. But before I do that, ladies and gentlemen, if you could just hit the like button on the stream real quick. 2 thumbs up to that. Really appreciate it. It really helps out. We're about to get started with the New York session here in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to wrap things up. But if you all need me to repeat, I think one of you wanted me to look at the Dixie. Which... For those of you who don't know, I do not use the Dixie to try and predict other pairs. I know that some of you do that. I don't do that. I never do that. I think that No, absolutely not. Because that will get me into an analysis paralysis. Whatever chart that I am looking at, that is the chart that I am trading. I'm not looking at one chart to try and predict another chart. No. No, no, no. All right, so this was peak formation high of week, peak formation low of week. Stop hunted down to the low, put in a new peak formation, day 1, 3-day cycle. First green day, and then now we are getting what appears to be a fairly large expansion of that range on a Friday up to the upside. All right, this is push 1 outside of the opening range, push 2 outside of the opening range. And now maybe push 3. So based off this first green day and based off this pattern, there was a really good trade in Asia and a continuation in London. 2 sessions outside, 2 pushes outside coming into the New York session. Do I want to look for a continuation? Probably not. All right. It could. It very well could. Would I personally look for that? I personally would not, because we've got 2 pushes outside of the opening range. Peak formation down low, 1, 2, maybe 3 back up. Also 1, 2, 3 to the upside. And then also 3 sessions on the 3rd day outside. So that's just my take on it. Somebody said they wanted me to go back to gold. Let's take a look. First red day on gold. Peak formation at the high of the week. I'm looking for a sell high opportunity if that were to present in the session. However, if this is a breakout pullback template, I'm also watching this opening range high. If they start layering on top of there, ooh, I don't know if I want to go short on this. They might go vertical. All right, always understanding the consolidations and the templates and things like that. Breakout, pullback, they start going into an extended consolidation. Yikes. Let's see, NASDAQ, I think, was NASDAQ one of the... Okay, there we go. Nice. Coming into the session. There's that little half Batman and a peak formation high, right? Right at the beginning of the session. They're breaking down. Nice. Nice. All right, look at that. Peak formation high of day. On the day. Good. That's what we want to see. Do they have a peak formation at the low of the day? I don't see one. They have not put in a low. The last place that I see a low is down here from New York. I want to see them lock in this volume. Very nice, Keaton. Ooh. Now that I'm down on a 15, be careful. Look at this. Not saying that it won't go lower by any means. All right. By any means am I saying that. But just look at the consolidations, all right? You got to watch out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great stream. I really love doing these in the morning. When I'm not teaching webinars, I will always do these 7 a.m. on Wednesdays and Fridays. If I am teaching a webinar that week, which I am teaching one next week, I will be doing them on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., I have a video coming out on daily templates, what to look for on the day that can help you confirm your larger thesis. It's going to be a really good video broken down. We'll call it Barney style, right? Real simple. Keaton, always spreading the good word. Love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a great rest of your day. You have a great weekend. I will see you in the next live stream and, of course, in the next video. Bye-bye.